This is an Apple IIe, and this is a Nintendo PowerGlove. And today, through the magic of adapters and being very silly, we're gonna try and connect them together and play games. Probably very poorly. So stay tuned. This disembodied hand is making me uncomfortable. And if you enjoy mashing up various vintage technologies into some sort of 1980s video gaming fever dream, I hope you'll consider subscribing to the channel. So this is the Nintendo PowerGlove. Depending on who you ask, it was either a ridiculous concept with a poor implementation and terrible software coverage, or an idea that was so far ahead of its time that it was doomed from the start. I won't get too much into the backstory of this thing because there's some really great videos out there, like one from the Gaming Historian, which I'll link down below, if you're interested in late 80s technology drama. All I know is that I was a wee little retro back in 1989 and I wanted one of these things. Now, a normal person might want to hook this up to, a Nintendo, like it was designed for, but truth be told, this thing was never great at being a Nintendo controller. But thanks to a neat little device that we recently tested on this channel, we now have the ability to hook this up to various Apple II series computers. Okay, now I know that sounds incredibly silly, but hear me out for a second. The main complaint about this PowerGlove back in the day was just how much of a worse controller it was compared to a regular controller. NES games were designed for the precision of a D-pad and buttons. But this PowerGlove turned your arm into sort of a wibbly-wobbly joystick. And that was terrible for platforming games like Mega Man. But for the sole NES game that was designed for the PowerGlove, that game was actually received pretty well. And it was fun to play with the glove because it was designed for the glove and kind of a person whose arm is a giant wibbly-wobbly joystick. Unfortunately, due to corporate drama and poor sales, the PowerGlove was already discontinued by the time Glove Ball came out. But I can think of another platform with a whole bunch of really fun games designed with a joystick in mind. So that's why today we're gonna hook this thing up to an Apple II and play some classic games and, well, see if it works, and see if we can find this thing's hidden calling 30 years too late to save it. Right after this word about today's sponsor, PCBWay. Not only does PCBWay offer high-quality PCB prototyping and production, but they also offer on-site PCB assembly, and they can source some of the components with their turnkey service. I bet your project needs more than just PCBs. Well, PCBWay now offers additional services: high-quality 3D printing, injection molding, CNC machining, and even sheet metal fabrication. Literally every part of your next project can be prototyped and built with PCBWay. So if you have any PCB needs, I hope you'll give PCBWay.com a try. Okay, so let's inspect this PowerGlove a little bit and, well, more importantly, see if it works. And then we'll try hooking it up to this sweet little game port adapter, which does Super Nintendo and NES with an adapter, and see if it works as a joystick in a bunch of Apple II games. Look, it even came with the original box. It's an investment. So this is the PowerGlove. At least the glove portion. There is a whole other shebang that goes with it with sensors, actually microphones. We'll get into that in a minute. But yeah, most of the brains actually live in here, and Ben Heck did a pretty cool teardown of this, where he discovered that, and actually turned this into a computer mouse the hard way. But suffice to say, there's a bunch of sensors in the fingers here, which actually work with ink. Up front here, there are two ultrasonic speakers, which emit ultrasonic sound that the other shenanigans that go with this pick up to get the glove's orientation. And there is also a controller built in up here because, yeah, you're going to need that if you actually try to play Nintendo games with this thing. There's also a bunch of buttons up here where you can load up programs, and from what I understand, the developers of the PowerGlove went through every available NES game at the time of this thing's launch and programmed in movements of the glove to correspond to actions in the game, and you can select the program up here. Anyway, another hilarious thing about this, well, this was obviously well used by some 1980s child, but in here is what used to be foam. It's hard as a rock. It's turned into like chalk. Look at this. It's like literally chalk. Disgusting. So, yeah. Let's try to pull this out of here. Oh, gross. Okay, hold please. Let me get some rubbing alcohol. Okay, so the other part of this actually presents a slight problem. This is the sensor bar, which is supposed to like clamp on your TV. But for some reason, they didn't account for the size of an Apple II computer. So it doesn't quite fit. Perfect. Anyway, this has a little box here, which is actually what connects to the Nintendo controller port. And the glove connects to the box. PowerGlove. Questions. We can help. Okay, now I know I should probably test this out on an actual Nintendo first. I don't even know if it works. But when have I ever done the smart thing? Let's power this on and fire up a game. Okay, nothing happening on the PowerGlove yet. I've read that you have to press the start button to do something. Let's try Choplifter. Hello. Hello, computer. A keyboard. How quaint. This doesn't seem to do anything. All right, I'll test it on my regular Nintendo first. It beeped. Alright, well, this stupid adapter wasn't even wired up correctly. Yeah, ground wasn't even connected. And 5 volts was connected to, like, one of the data lines. But through the magic of completely butchering it, I think I fixed it. Can you believe that this cheap adapter from Amazon was wired up incorrectly? Jeff Bezos! Alright, well, let's test this with an actual Nintendo controller, which, again, probably would have been smart to do in the first place. Let's try Nightmare Gallery. I love that one. Oh, now it works. I think we have success. Alright, time to hook the PowerGlove itself up in a totally not janky at all manner. There we go, like this. Beautiful. I'm sure this will work just fine. Let's try and power it on. Hey, it beeped! Okay, so I haven't read the instructions, obviously. But I guess let's put this stupid thing on. Wow, the commercials are right. This is bad. Oh no. It's registering things. Well, I guess it works. So I think you do program 1.4 enter, and that puts it into just gamepad mode. And then this is supposed to show up, down, left, and right, and BA. But they're kind of just all flickering. Is that how this is supposed to work? I should probably read the instructions. God, this thing is really hurting the old fingies here. Circulation. Anyway, look at all this cool stuff it came with. Plug into the power. Yeah, didn't really happen. Whoa. The Wizard, coming December 15th to theaters everywhere. Of course, everyone knows the movie The Wizard because it was sampled in the most famous song of all time, Cutsman by Horse the Band.
PowerGlove.
Here's the nice and fairly thick instruction book. Sensor assembly. Oh yeah. They did the instructions in the style of a weird, cringy comic. Hey, here we go. These programs. Program 1, automatically loaded when you turn on the glove. When you turn on program 14.0, you turn off the glove movements, and then it just works like a controller. Oh, okay. So actually the default is what I want. Program 1. And to enter a program, you have to hit enter twice because they decided to be annoying. All right, let's give it a try. My circulation. All right, so as you can see, I professionally reinforced the sensor arm with a bunch of CDs, and I've read that you're supposed to close your fist, then push start. Am I calibrating it? They're just all flashing. Let's see. Program 1, enter, enter. All of the things are flashing. All right, well, let's see. Choplifter. That'll be a good test. Oh, God. Okay, first, sortie. Fly. It just did something. It moved. What does it just need, like wild gestures? Because it's definitely talking to the Apple too because it moved. Oh God, that's just beeping. Stop that. Stop beeping. All right, Galaxian. I mean, it is sending commands, just not the right ones. Is it reversed? I think it's reversed. Wow, you have to do like wild swings of the arm for this to work. All right, I'm getting a workout. Now it's not working right. Okay, look, it is working. But the controls are reversed. I can like hear this thing pulsing. Is that normal? Or can I just hear ultrasonic sound? Okay, so it kind of works. Enough that I am curious to take it apart and see if there's anything obviously wrong, like, 30-year-old conductive Cheeto dust or something. Ah, it all just comes apart. Whoa, look at that spaghetti. All right, this is kind of as far as I can get it apart because these wires go into the finger sensors, which are all down the fingers here, and I'm not getting into that. I'm just going to look for broken solder joints with my Adrian's Digital Basement style headset here. Now it got scratched. Oh, hey, look at that. All right, I guess I'll recap this little board as well because Why the heck not? I already have it apart. All right, well, I've now recapped a PowerGlove, which of course is going right on my resume. NASA, if you're hiring, look at this kind of quality work I can provide. And yeah, I did not test these old caps first, but they look disgusting. Look at them. Gross. All right, before I put this all the way back together, the big question. Does it work any better now? I don't think so. Fly. Fly. Do something. Well, I'm not convinced that this PowerGlove works correctly, but it definitely worked a bit. So maybe it just doesn't like this adapter, and there are some additional lines on here which could be connected, and maybe this requires, but I don't know. So the PowerGlove on the Apple II. Perhaps not the killer accessory that we were missing back in the 80s, but it did work, sort of, in Galaxian. And I know this was kind of a silly video, but I've been wanting to play with the PowerGlove for quite some time, and this isn't my only PowerGlove shenanigan idea, so stick around, and I have some other fun stuff I think we can do once I figure out if this is fully working or not. Oh, and if you like these kinds of shenanigans, check out the Action Patreon, because I have a bonus video coming up. My friend gave me way too many ancient Toshiba laptops, and we're gonna try them all out. Ew. As always, if you enjoyed this video, I'd appreciate a thumbs up, and if you'd like to see more weirdness like this, please subscribe down below, and thank you very much for watching. And a special thanks to Alex Hoffman, Andrew Nicholson, Camila Noseda, Chris Allegretta, Chris Biggs, Chris Calderon, Chris Nelson, Control-Alt-Reese, Daniel Hubbard, Frodo Jedi, Gaspar Heller, Greg Hrutke, Harris Brody, Jason Papaz, Justin Hemmings, Justin Reed, Lyle Truid, Michael Mulhern, Paul Spencer, Ryan, Scott Cedarbaum, Scott Thompson, Sutek, Tom Woodfin, Unknown Soldier 41, who are my highest tiered patrons, and all of my Patreon supporters for helping to make these shenanigans possible.